Hey everybody! Happy Sunday, happy 100! Hey! It's the 100th show! Golf clap, yes. How's everybody doing out there? It is happy Sunday, of course, and happy 100th show to me, yeah, if you know, for the 100 people that watch this show. Cheers to the cold coffee of Sweet Home Chicago and all the other stuff that we talk about here. Yeah, July 9th. I posted it earlier today, my first show. It was pretty bad. It was just basically me teaching the song Boulevard to you guys, the intro to the Boulevard from Jackson Browne. I just basically July 9th, 2020. And now I know if you're going to do the math, how's that add up to 100 shows on Sunday? Well, it doesn't. Because when I first started doing these things, videos and shows for you guys, you guitar nuts out there, and just classic rock people in general, I just basically did it because, we're into the pandemic. I wanted to do something. I was inspired by a guy named Tom Bukovac, who's a studio session guitar player in Nashville, who was doing these shows in his garage with just his phone, and that's all I do. This is just my phone in my studio here in the basement, Cold Coffee Studios as we call it, and basically just did rambling on, guitar lessons, talk about stuff, and I did, like I said, do the math. I wasn't always doing it on Sunday. It just fell into Sunday eventually, and fell into a weekly thing. Eventually, I wanted to do one or two a week, 3 or 4 a week sometimes. I think the first couple weeks, you know how it is on YouTube. You get making all these videos, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I haven't got any more ideas. But I kept my ideas going, and hopefully you like the show. I'm going to keep going. It's 100 shows, inspired by just basically COVID pain that we've all felt. But anyhow, and it's kind of fitting that, it's my 100th show, and now we're slowly but surely getting out of COVID, which is great. And cheers to all you guys for sticking with me and sticking through this, and it's not going to stop. I think it's a pretty good Sunday morning thing. I found out all of us older guys are kind of up early anyways, so you're watching this. Now, cheers. And what was I going to talk about today? Well, I sent out a few suggestions. Sent out, out to you guys what you want to see and what you want. And a few people had some ideas back, and we thought about some ideas. And, I'm a guitar teacher, teaching for, over 25 years, teaching guitar, own my own school in Brantford, Ontario. We have 3 locations here. Have about 20, I'm going to say 20. Bubbling around 20 teachers that we teach sorry, we have 20 teachers that teach, yes, thank you, in our area here, in various instruments, and basically, we've taught this area for a lot of years, and it's really funny because I drive down the street and I'm at a red light, and people will wave to me, and they'll look like they're in their 20s or maybe in their late teens and that, and I just realized after a while, these are kids that I've taught, and I just don't know what they look like anymore because they're grown up, and so it's just, it's great that I've taught, hundreds, I don't know if it's thousands, but hundreds of kids how to play guitar. And hopefully all you students out there are getting something from these things, and get something out of this thing. It's not only the glory, it's not only being a rock star, it's also about being an individual, and it's also about individual achievement, because it's only you that can put through, the strings through the speakers. It's only you who can do that. and you should be an individual. And I always tell people to be individuals. So I'm going to talk about my teachers today. I've talked about all of them over the last 100 episodes in some form, and but my teachers are your heroes and my heroes. The guitar players. I'm going to put it down to five. Five. There's a top. Everyone has a top 20. And Rolling Stone, and puts out a pretty embarrassing top 100 every once in a year. But that's Rolling Stone. What do you want? What do you want? But anyways, we always argue about who's number one, and there really isn't a number one, is there? I mean, music is not a sport; it's not a competition. Um, I think everyone out there is great, and it's funny because we used to cut up some guitar players in the '80s, and now I look back and go, "Wow, man, those guys are playing in stadiums and arenas and controlling that sound in an arena. That's a big thing, and not everyone can do that. There's only a chosen few that get to do that, and they should be applauded and not be called mediocre and overrated and all these things. I saw a great interview with Nuno Betancourt, or Nuno Betancourt. No, it wasn't even an interview. He went off about he was playing with Poison, and Poison and all his fans started cutting up Poison. He just shot back and said, this band's still playing gigs, 30 years later, and they're playing big gigs 30 years later. Try and do that. And Extreme wasn't as big as Poison, so they were applauded for it. So, anyways, applaud your guys, and I'm going to applaud five guys today. Five guys. I'm going to get it down to five that really were influential on me, and grew me into a player that I'm really happy with how my playing has turned out, and it's always growing. And if you're a guitar player out there, never stop learning. Don't ever stop, and keep reaching, because you can always get better. Anybody. If you're a beginner, don't stop either, because there's peaks and valleys you got to get over. And once you get over the physical thing, when your hands start to hurt, that's probably the first couple months, and then you go 6 months, year, and keep going. Progress. We live in a world of instant gratification where we just want things. You can push a couple buttons, or kids can learn a video game in a couple hours, master it, or a couple weeks just be a phenomenal. But a couple weeks on this thing, you're getting good. It's all the time you put in. 6 months on this thing, I've seen some kids do phenomenal things. But anyhow, let's talk about five guys that really did it for me, and we're going to talk about, the first one is this album and these guys, because we always talk about one guy in this band, and then we talk about don't talk about the other guy much. And the other guy is Brad Whitford, and the main guy is Joe Perry, who we always think of as the lead guitar player. But this guy here, Brad Whitford, a lot of leads. Ever seen Aerosmith live? I've seen Aerosmith live about 4 or 5 times, and phenomenal. Why was this guy really influential? The songs were amazing, and that's anything in classic rock. It's always about the songs. And not hard to figure out in a technical sense. So it was easy to get all these songs down. And it was easy to get... And why I show the live album is because I always like to see exactly what these guys were playing, even though we find out later that a lot of the live albums were doctored and stuff. But basically... you can see what they can do with a song with 2 guitars and a live show, and it was always raw and always changed, and that's Joe Perry and Brad Whitford, and they're in my top 5. They're in my top 5 as influential to me, and just creating great music. Let's move on. What's really funny is I have my Zeppelin album somewhere, but I don't have one to hold up. So I'm going to just say, and I should have a picture or something, but Jimmy Page. Okay, so Jimmy Page, a lot of people, out there is probably their number one player. Um, Jimmy Page just epitomized, or he is the picture of the guitar army. You know, the production. You know, one guitar player in Led Zeppelin, but you know, you put on Achilles' Last Stand, which is my favorite Led Zeppelin song. It's hard to pinpoint a favorite, but yeah, if you had to ask me, that's the one. And Achilles' Last Stand, just an army of guitars, just an army of guitars, and anything. Stairway to Heaven was not just on a double neck and an acoustic. It wasn't even recorded on a double neck. It was recorded on three guitars. Um, Fender 12 for the 12-string parts. I believe a Gibson Dove for all the acoustic parts, and a Telecaster for all the electric parts. So no Les Pauls, no double neck. The main guitars that he's known for. But correct me if I'm wrong, Zeppelin heads. Okay, Mr. Oswald. You're one of them. And there's lots of real, I just got to mention too, there's lots of great people that I got to shout out to. I'll do that at the end. But yeah, Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, he's up there for me. And the song, again, the songs. Whereas name me a bad Led Zeppelin song and you'll have an argument with me. The next guy really messed me up. His name is Rick Emmett from Triumph. The reason why I have on my main guitar, Ibanez guitar here, has one F hole is because of this guitar right here with one F hole and the Framus Ackerman, whatever, that he played. No one was playing that, even though Jan Ackerman, who the guy who designed the guitar, wasn't really playing that. He played a lot less balls, but Rick Emmett played a Jan Ackerman. I saw that guitar, and I stared at the back cover of the first Triumph album for hours looking at that guitar. And this studio is Phase One in Toronto, which I had the pleasure of recording an album there in 1989, and I was just amazed and sat in that couch. Well, maybe it wasn't that couch because that was from 1976, but I mean. Anyways, the couch. There was a couch in that spot where I just sat there and thought, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." I mean, there was a room where the back picture of the Triumph album was shot. Anyways, wasn't that bored, but that machine was there. That big tape machine was there. Yeah, that was really cool. And there's the cover of the first Triumph album. You know, there's lots of covers off the first Triumph album. This is the one. This is the original one. It actually says 1976 on here, and you can't have this one, even though it's kind of messed up. But anyways, Rick Emmett was a guitar player from Toronto, well-schooled, trained in classical in all the styles. And why he messed me up was I would listen to a Triumph album, and there was classical stuff, there was rock stuff, there was shredding stuff, there was jazz stuff, there was blues stuff, there was all kinds of different acoustic stuff, whether it be flamenco, just straight flat picking, or straight amazing fingerstyle playing that he played. And then he played, you know, a bunch of different guitars, double necks and that. And I used to think, you know, we never had videos back then of guys playing. So I used to, you know, look at pictures and with magnifying glasses and look at what they were using for a pick. Rick Emmett, I didn't know, are you using a pick all the time? No, he's not. And then eventually when YouTube came out, you could see all this stuff. First album was great, but my favorite album cover of all time is Just a Game by Triumph, and this was the album that broke them huge. Basically, with Lay It on the Lines on this album, Hold On, and those were the two main ones. And then, of course, Suitcase Blues, which was the jazz song on here. Amazing. Rick Emmett, thanks for messing me up, by the way, Rick. I'm a lot better for it from me studying classical and all that other stuff. How many guitar players is that? Perry and Whitford, one. We'll call that one. Aerosmith. Rick Emmett and Jimmy Page. That's three. Okay, so let's go move on to the next two. Can you guys guess what they are? How many shows have I done on Van Halen in my 100 shows? I'm gonna probably say about 10 on Van Halen. And unfortunately, he passed away during my tenure of shows. So I think I did probably a good week of Van Halen stuff, or a good 4 weeks of Van Halen stuff. That's my original copy of the first album that changed everyone's life. Kind of like the Ed Sullivan show for us guitar players, wasn't it? Hearing this album and hearing Eruption for the first time. Not much I can say about Eddie. Go back and watch shows, 40 through 56. I don't know what they are, but Eddie Van Halen unfortunately passed away. The only one who's passed away out of my group of guitar players that I love, my five, and I wasn't too surprised. I was very shocked, but I wasn't totally surprised because he had a lot of health issues. But really sad that he doesn't walk the earth with us, because he was the innovator and the guy who does it. Now these are no particular order, but Eddie would probably be number one, just for his pure performing style and just the way it is. Are you surprised to number one? My last one that I'm doing. I'm not gonna say it's number one, but do I need to say his name? It was this album. That's him. No picture of him on here. Actually, there was a. If you had the original copy of this album, which I don't, it was a gatefold and they had a picture of the band in there. Michael Shanker was a guy that I discovered. We used to draw. My friend Brad Smith and I. We used to on the weekends take the GO train. And maybe some subways. Yeah, probably. GO train to Subway. And we went down to Yonge Street and walked Yonge Street every Saturday and went into record stores and just experimented and bought stuff. And I bought that album, and Brad bought, I believe, Phenomenon, the first UFO album, maybe another one after that. And because I was into live albums, because I wanted to hear how the guy played it live and hear his sound live and all that stuff. That's why I bought live albums. And Michael Shanker, I wasn't good enough to play the Van Halen and Randy Rhoads stuff yet. I couldn't do it yet. I was still practicing, playing real hard. Not to say that Michael Shanker was easy to learn, but it was mostly a lot of basic leads that eventually I built my speed on and played them as fast as I could, and close to what fast as he could. Everybody wanted to play fast in the 80s, wouldn't we? Didn't we all shred it out? But the riffs were good, and again, all 5 of these artists' songs. The songs are timeless. Songs are amazing. I still play a lot of those songs live, and I still play a lot of those songs in the studio every week. Just incredible people. The five guys that I mentioned, really 6 with Brad Whitford in there. Just basically changed my world and rock. Everyone's got their favorite. I challenge everybody who's watching to put their favorite 5 in the comments today. And do it. Put the comments up, guys. No inhibitions here. No. We're all friends. We're not gonna cut you up. I just want to see your 5 favorite guitar players. And if you're a guitar player out there, because not all of you guys are, if you're a guitar player out there, I want to say, why did they influence you? And you don't have to put that down, but people that influenced you that good. And that's what my 100th show is all about. It's about learning. It's about talking about stuff. It's about sharing. I've never had one bad comment on this show, which means maybe I'm not ticking off enough people out there, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to just celebrate. If you in anything in life, if you go out and see your buddy's band play, don't dwell on negative stuff. Tell them they're great. Pump them up. Get them out there and play. Just do that. Don't talk about something that happened or how they played. Just say, hey, you guys did well. You guys did great. You guys love it. I love that song you played. I love when you played that solo or that. And that's great stuff. And as a musician, don't worry too much about those comments. Don't worry about them, because You know who you are. You be you. You be your inner things. Because put it to you this way: if we went off in negative comments, wouldn't we all just put our head in the sand? But if you went off positive comments, you get American Idol, what I call American Idol syndrome, where some of those people were told all their lives they're phenomenal singers by their fans and family, and they're not. Some of them, but just make sure you're praising people out there, not just musicians. Everybody in life needs some encouragement right now, and they always do, especially if you have kids and stuff like that. Do that. I put this show together very quickly. I don't rehearse them. I didn't even have a script for this one other than I was going to show out. I was going to tell you about my 5 guys and 6. And then I just put it together. I kind of think up mostly, based on birthdays and stuff like that. So most of the stuff I play is in my head, but if I got to practice stuff like Top Jimmy, for instance, which is a little hard, I practice it a little bit beforehand, and then we shoot this thing. And it's all in one take. I don't edit, don't do anything else. I just like to thank a lot of people, and I'm sorry if I forget somebody out there, but there's a lot of people out there that are my friends, that I play with in bands, that have played with in bands over the years. The guys that I know from the 80s that are still playing music. Some of them aren't playing music anymore, but still are just out there. And and if you're not playing music full time, and don't worry about it, you did, and you played great. And something, there's other priorities in life sometimes. Sometimes if you have families and kids, you gotta pay for that stuff. And it's hard. I got 2 kids. I got one kid in university, and another one is going to be in university in about 2 years. And sometimes making $100 at Joey's Bar and Grill with some guys flipping a burger beside you, maybe that doesn't cut it. So don't do what you got to do out there, people. Special thanks to I'm going to name some of them, and it's going to be sad because I'm going to forget somebody, but Don Dodds. Thanks for all your comments. Rob Oswald, Oliver Carrero, Rodney DeFreitas, my drummer for life, Danny Variolo, Brad Smith, Sharon Davies, who always watches this stuff and watched our live streams for a long time. I should have written them down. I'm going to forget somebody, and that's sad. But, Paul Morrison, and a lot of people that I've never even met. Paul's one of them, and Andy. There's just so many. There's so many. Oh my God, there's so many. But thank you so much for everybody out there for supporting my show. I get some views. I put them on YouTube. They get a few views. Share them. Do whatever you want. I'm not looking to be some kind of YouTube phenomenon, but Tom is. Get that off the screen. What was that? Don't look at that. Tom Bukovac is, and there's lots of people out there that are phenomenal. There's lots of people that can play. There's lots of people who can't play. And there's lots of people who just are great people to watch on YouTube and on Facebook and that. So all you people out there that have supported me on my 100th show, and I'm going to keep going. If I didn't mention your name, I apologize. Mike Humbey, a big inspiration for a lot of these shows. My student, Mike Humbey, from Nashville, Tennessee, who actually influenced me a lot because he's an older guitar player, and one day I heard music at the end of the day of the school day, and for some reason I was still there. I don't know why. It was later, and most people had gone. I went over to the gym with a couple friends of mine, and there was a band set up there, and they were playing. And then Zabarillo Brothers, Ozzy on drums, and Mike Humbey on guitar with shades on, playing guitar. And I thought, wow, I wish I was up there playing with those guys. And then later on, when Mike was in university, we went over and jammed at his house, and inspiring, man. Inspired me to play and be there. And I've been playing for a long time, playing a lot of bands. Come out and see my bands play. Hopefully you like it. If you don't, hey, it's okay. Anyhow, I'm rambling on right now, guys. Thanks so much. I will continue to put shows out there for you guys. This was one take. I like to do it in one take. You know, I think last week I said I forgot what number show I was. I forgot I was on 99, which is sad. And I got about 7 minutes in of doing the show, and I was like, oh no, I got to do it over again. So I hit stop and went back. This is my longest show, but hopefully you're still watching, and I really appreciate the people that I love, that have supported me as a musician too, and that's my wife Angela, who supports me through everything I do, teaching, playing, everything, and my kids Kaylee and Jacob, who are phenomenal musicians in their own right. If the world doesn't hear their songs, it's going to be sad. It's going to be a sad thing. And, you know, you guys have probably heard a lot of Jacob's songs. If you haven't heard my daughter Kaylee's songs, oh my God, she has got this certain quality to her songs that, you know, if she doesn't perform them live, somebody else should be performing them live and recording them. Because, man, are they ever good. There's a song called New York City that'll make you cry. Jacob's got some, and his new album, Jacob's new album's coming out. It's almost finished. He shows me rough mixes every week in the car, and I can't believe that someone is recording that kind of quality in his bedroom with really not thousands of dollars of equipment either. You know, it's his own budget. Anyhow, love guitars, love you guys, love my family and kids, love my friends out there, love this guitar, which is I brought this out because this was the first good guitar that I ever got. It was an Ibanez name brand, and man, have I ever butchered it. If you're an Ibanez vintage person, which I follow, forgive me, but I'm a player, not a collector, okay? Anyhow, number 100. Thank you, people. 27-minute show. Hope you're still watching. See you later. Have a great Sunday. Have a great week. See you next Sunday.